When did you first time decided to get out of business?
My attorney and his attorney went back and forth. He said, here's the deal, you're paying for my attorney fees to start with. And I ended up beating him up. I think it took 25 grand off the top.
Have you invested in Bitcoin?
I got so sick of it, I wanted to be done with it. I got this check for 30,000 bucks.
He's working for you and you bought his business, but he's still doing jobs on the side.
And I laughed because the price that I sold that job at, there's guys doing work this day for less money than I sold that job for. I think I sold it at $450 a foot.
Did you have any regrets about selling your business?
No, I wouldn't waste my time or energy.
Give one advice to a brand new contractor.
You got lucky. I hate the word lucky, man.
Welcome back to Roofing Insights. Today, you guys are for a treat. I have Mike Braun, my close friends who I know for over 5-6 years now. And this guy is absolutely amazing, one of the best business owners I've ever met in construction space. He sold his gutter company at the age of 28 for $1.5 million. Make sure you take some notes because we're gonna be dropping some bombs today. Thanks for coming, man.
Thank you for having me, man, on a snowy morning.
It's crazy. We're in Minneapolis and everybody was late to the office, including our videographer, myself. We have, 4 to 6 inches already dropped. And
It's an apocalypse.
Yeah, it's still coming. So first question is, how did you get in the gutter business?
One of my good high school friends, he was doing it on the weekends, and they got busy, and he just asked me. He says,
Did you
"Hey,"
graduate high school?
Yeah, I graduated high school. I just helped him on the weekends, and kept trucking along. Well, all of a sudden he left, and he went off to college, and I kept helping this guy. I was in 11th grade, and all of a sudden the guy that I was helping, he's like, "Hey, how about you just do this full time for me?" And I'm like, "A gutter guy? You've never heard of one of them before." I said, "No, I'm going off to be a plumber." And I kept doing it on the side. Before all that started, I had an eye injury. I was working on a shop, drill bit snapped, broke, drilled into my eye, wrecked my eye. And during this whole time, we're battling this out in court. And I got so sick of it, I wanted to be done with it. I got this check for 30,000 bucks. You know, what would you do with 30 grand at 18 years old? Blow it. You know, I went out and bought my first trailer, my gutter machine, all my equipment.
Oh, wow.
And I kept helping this guy. And
With your equipment, so you were subbing out from him then? Because it was your equipment?
I kept doing his stuff, doing his machine. I didn't want to dirty water, so I kept doing his stuff, and then I would start doing my own stuff. I sold my first gutter job at 17 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I remember that's up in Albertville, Minnesota. And I laugh because the price that I sold that job at, there's guys doing work this day for less money than I sold that job for. I think I sold it at $450 a foot. Oh, wow. And that was going back, 16, 17 years.
It's interesting you said it because just yesterday I've seen a tweet, I don't know who author is, but he said, if you give somebody $25,000, like to start, like throw money at him, he said 5 years later, people who are broke still going to be broke, and people who are successful going to be successful. The point is, throwing money at somebody doesn't always help. Like it's in your personality and what you do with it. If you're disciplined, you'll make something out of it. And if you have that poor mentality, you're just going to burn through it, and 5 years later, you're still going to be in the same spot.
Over the years, we've had, I couldn't count the number of installers. And I've learned that as you could pay guys more, it doesn't mean they're going to have more money. They're broke, they're broke.
So what year you went on your own is when you said, I'm going to be a business owner, I'm going to hire people?
2007, 2008. I was plumbing full time.
You're in plumbing. You always want to be plumbing.
I always want to be a plumber.
You kept doing gutters.
I kept doing gutters. I did both. And it's funny because fast forward how many years, I'm still battling back and forth between plumbing and, and gutters. And it was just nonstop. Well, then finally we were working for a roofer out of Monticello. And that's in 07. Monticello got pounded with hail and the town got destroyed. My older brother, he was installing for another gutter company. And I said, "Hey, we're doing this full time, man. We're going in." And we got hooked up with one roofing company. He was just feeding us. It was me and my brother, and we were running nonstop hard. It kind of started to dry up. I got this door hanger. So I'm like, what are we going to do? And well, that was, right around the crash time. Nobody's got any money. That's all you see. News. Everybody's broke.
How did it affect it? How did kind of
Frick,
collapse?
we exploded.
Really?
Get off your butt and hustle, man.
The same here. I went in business when the economy collapsed, 2008, 2009.
That separates boys and girls. I mean, it is. It's hustlers.
Like 12, 14-hour days. You're early bird?
7 days a week. Oh, I'm usually up. Well, now I'm usually up at 4 o'clock, and it's just natural for me.
When did you buy your first rental property? Because I know you had like 6 or 7 of them by the time you sold the company.
Oh, crap, it's probably 6 years ago now. I had a friend that installed gutter with me, and he was kind of a realtor a little bit. He was pretty strong on knowledge, a little low on cash, and I was a little low on knowledge, a little strong on cash at that time. So we bought our first rental property, and I was like, I'm gonna do this one a year for 10 years, and I'm gonna be done. And it just kept, I bought another one, and another one, and it was kind of fun.
And by the age of 28, you have like 6 rental properties.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's always B2B for you, not B2C.
No. You've got one company that is all retail. You know, that would never work for peanuts, working for a contractor, like greedy contractors, you know. Or you'd have the guys that would do just all contractor work, couldn't even carry a conversation with that customer. And I figured out, how are we gonna do both these? And some people are like, you're nuts, man. And it worked out awesome. I mean, we battled a couple things here and there, you know. The biggest thing we battled at first was a lot of contractors be like, well, you can't come to my house with a lettered up truck. Find somebody else then, because if I'm driving a 16-foot cube van down the interstate, that thing's covered in lettering, right? Yep. And we just got over those little points, you know, and you want the best guy in town, you're gonna have us out, you know. And
what was your training process look like when you recruit new guys working for you?
You got a tool belt, get in the truck. We didn't, you know, looking back now, it's.
But you still would train them, like.
What I would do is I'd put them in with some good guys we had.
Okay.
And
as a helper, so they always started as a helper.
Yep. Some guys, you'd bring a new guy in and you'd know by the first day, either you'd destroy him. The best is you'd always get a new guy in. Oh, heights don't bother me. And you get him up 3 stories, nope, it ain't cutting it. Or you get up on an 8-12 roof and nope, he ain't doing it.
Any accidents? Any broken legs, arms, fouls?
No. I actually was the biggest catastrophe. We were building our shop, you know, right across the street here and doing our build out, and I still look back and I laugh, and I'm glad it happened to me. But I'm paying 7 guys because it was cold out that day. I'm paying 7 guys because we're going to get the shop all ready. And here I am up on this scaffolding, hanging sheetrock, and the scaffolding comes apart. I fall, I snap my leg in half. Oh, wow. And I'm glad it happened to me, but I always just laugh. I'm like, I had paying all those guys to stand there and watch me. And here I'm the one that's hurt. The big thing is confidence. If you don't feel safe, get off. And there's a lot of houses that I've walked away from that I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not sending my guys up there. I won't expect my guys to do something that I won't do myself.
Let's talk about your business a little bit more. Did you stock materials?
Absolutely. We, when I first started, we got into the 4 trucks. I had my garage. We could never park a vehicle inside, and I'm very picky. I want my stuff inside. So I ended up building a big garden shed out back. Well, we outgrew that. So then we wanted to move a little bit closer to the cities, bought a house, built a big shop. That went well for 2 years, and then all of a sudden I got 3 trucks running out of my house, and I got 7 guys running out of there, and it's just not professional, and the neighbors are probably getting pissed, and I don't like disgruntled employees knowing where I live. We took the biggest leap we ever did is we bought the shop down here in Brooklyn Park, and that was the coolest thing we ever did.
When did you first time decided to get out of business? When did you decide that you were burning out, or how did conversation start about actually selling?
Sick of employees. Anybody in the metro that ever watches this video will be hands down that the gutter industry, I've hired the same guy 15 times. He's good for 2 weeks, he's good for a month, and then he flakes out. It got really bad there for a while, and I just had I was young, I didn't know any different of working 7 days a week, 14-hour days nonstop, and one night I came home and I said, I'm done. I'm sick of this. And then all of a sudden I started doing some research on some business brokers, and you're gonna sell my gutter company for that kind of money? Have the damn thing, sell it, I'm out. And literally, you talk about people that sell businesses, they're, I don't know, 6 months to a year to sell something or get anything moving. And I knew it was meant to be, because and I'm bad with days, and it's been a while now, but I think almost 60 days we were start to finish.
Really?
70 days.
So you sold your business within 60 days?
60, 70 days, cash in hand. I was 28. My wife had went to school for hair, and she'd got a job. Well, I made her quit. She'd come and run our office, and we sold. It was actually the best day of my life. We sold the business that day. I got sold the business that day, and I got full custody of my daughter. And so once we got our check and our 30-day standby was on, we went on a road trip, 14-day road trip. It was awesome.
What was the process of selling business? Like you said, it's 60 days, but guide us through, like, okay, you did research, this is what it takes, like, what it actually took.
The process, obviously you spend a lot of time in front of your books, And that's the number one thing, is how do we get this business to look like it's worth the most of, you know.
You have to understand the books, and books have to show the profit.
Books have to show. And then now if the books got to show it, now the SBA's got to believe that there's a value there. And you know, the big thing that I learned a lot, I didn't know nothing about this, is so this blue sky factor, you know, what's a business in 10 years? What kind of value is 10 years worth with, I know you used to put a ton of love with Angie's List, crooked company now. We did too. You know, what is a company, you know, what is a company with hundreds of reviews on Angie's List? What's that bring to the company as value? So, you know, putting a value on it.
How many reviews do you have on Angie's List?
Probably up to 500, I suppose. I don't remember at that time.
Is it a new company with Angie's List?
No, I wouldn't waste my time or energy.
You sold it for 1.5 million. What was the profit year prior, I guess?
Yeah, it was a rock star year. I think we did 1.7. Yeah.
So the books were showing profit. So you did 1.7. You net 400,000. What was your gross profit?
I knew you were going to ask this question.
But your net was 400,000. That's solid.
You got lucky. I hate the word lucky, man.
How is it lucky? You were disciplined. Your books, if you have books showing, it's the same thing like a lot of roofers, a lot of guys who work in construction, they think, sales guys, they think they make money because, you know, you have a nice car, you have this and this. No, if your books, if your tax return does not show that you actually made it, you didn't make it. I'm sorry, like I've seen a lot of $10 million businesses
So they
who are
make
broke.
shit.
Exactly. You're moving a lot of money, but you're not making money. If you have books that shows that you actually make money and you pay taxes on it, that's where you make money.
It's funny. I can't tell you how many roofing companies looked down on us over the year. Just a dumb gutter company. And looking back, dude, we did more money in a stupid piece of aluminum hanging on the side of their house. Because why? Because I was behind it. I was a driving machine. My little gutter industry over here, I can grind more out of it, I guarantee.
True. If your margins are better.
But this
100%.
roofing guy looked down on me because we're only doing X amount of dollars and we're not doing $1 million a year. That $1 million don't mean nothing to me.
I do the same thing. We do, you know, 4 or 5 million, and I see some guys who are doing 10, 15.
You're gonna get more.
Maybe, because I turn down a lot of jobs, and I also don't do a lot of questions. I don't waive deductibles. Like when I look at any company, like first question I ask, do you waive deductibles? Last year I collected $170,000 in deductibles alone. Think about, like, if you're doing 10 million and you're waiving deductible, I know that our margins probably the same. That's just reality. I did a video a couple weeks ago, what 5% will do, 5% discount. And we did like $10,000 job, 5% off. So now if you want to do $1 million, you know, in sales with a $10,000 job, so I did the whole math, and with a 5% off, to make the same margin on $1 million, like to make $100,000, you have to now do 182 jobs, just with 5% off. Right. And I'm like, who wants to do 182 instead of 100? I'd rather do 100 because you might be doing 182 and you're a bigger company, because now you have to sell $7-8 million for the same profit. I'm like, I'm not willing to do it. What's your sales process look like?
When I'm out selling a job, a retail gutter job, first of all, I'm having all my stuff. One of our biggest game changers was an iPad. We put our whole sales process on the iPad, pictures, and I try to have a picture of every single situation I can ever think of. The way downspouts, and people want to see stuff, see it, and you know, I'd have a whole kit that I go out to their house with, not scratched up. I mean, I'd have everything covered in towels. I was going to hand you a downspout, you know, and I want you, this is really nice, this is what you're getting in your house. Well, it's got a big scratch going on the side. I mean, that's just in your head, that's icky.
Exactly.
Walk them around their house. Show them exactly how everything's going to look, how it's going to feel, and you know, show them what other customers in their neighborhood are saying about you as a company, and be there. I mean, our neighborhoods, we would work our neighborhoods. I tell you what, if another gutter company tried to get in our neighborhood, we were running them out, and it worked, and build value. And nowadays, I get asked once in a while here and there about business, and you know, just give me some tips about business. Answer your damn phone. Answer your phone. That's all I care about.
Number one tip I always been giving all my contractors who come to my class: hire a receptionist. You can, if you're not hustler, if you're not there, if you're not answering a phone call, hire a receptionist. You have no idea how much business you're losing. People come to me all the time, Dmitry, we need leads. My phone doesn't ring. Like, how do you get more leads? I'm like, just answer the phone. The same thing. Hire a receptionist. You hire a receptionist, that receptionist will pay for herself within the first 30 days. Because I guarantee you, missing business by not returning phone calls, not taking care of customers, or not just dealing with the new inquiries. And you go do your stuff. Like when I started Storm Group right away, like my first employee within 2 months, I hired Erin and I said, just deal with my schedule. And she was booking me. Like I don't have time to write down addresses. And I would just look, oh, I have 6 appointments tomorrow, and I'm busy with the customers, I'm selling, she keeps booking me, and I was booked 5-6 days a week. Did you have any regrets about selling your business?
Regrets, I tell you, one of the coolest things I ever see is the vans going down the road. That's the neatest thing. The regrets, the money was insane. I mean, I never thought at 25 years old you could make that kind of money. And then just, when you build something, you got a lot of pride in it. That was a hard thing. The headaches and the bullshit. But no, then I jumped into other businesses. I back at the headaches again.
Do you watch Netflix?
No, hate TV.
You hate TV?
I don't like TV.
That's why you're so successful. I'm the same way. Like I like Profit. It's a Marcus Lemonis show.
Yep.
Very similar. I love Profit.
I've seen Marcus. He's a good dude.
He's really good. Like guys like that, I can follow. I can't wait for new episode. But I agree with you 100%. Did you have credit lines with the suppliers?
No, cash money.
Cash money.
Why
not?
Because I had the money. I had the money.
Is it hard to work for contractors?
Yes and no. I think I just watched a video the other day. Appreciate your subs. And it's funny, like right now, the last couple of years has been a big storm year. And the amount of roofing companies begging and pleading. I've had phone calls. You called me and asked me if I knew anybody. I get phone calls all the time still, and I've been out of it. Hey, do you know any good gutter companies? We had relationships for a long time, and I think it's a both-way deal. There's a lot of time that I would move a job ahead for a roofing company just because they treated me very well. There's some guys that were just shitheads to work for, not even just pay. It seemed like every job was messed up, a nightmare. So can they be easy to work for? Yep. Can they be a nightmare? Absolutely. We have one roofing company sticks out in my head. They were the easiest, best roofing company. Their diagrams were down to a T within a foot. Their colors were perfect. Their homeowners were awesome. We never had a hiccup in there and with them guys. Nice. And yeah, so I mean, it can go both ways, I guess.
Who are the easiest to work for, builders or remodelers?
Any builder work we did seemed like more high-end stuff, and the guys that we worked for on the high-end houses, get the job done, send me a bill. There was no nickel and dime and penny, and and that goes back to some of the roofing companies. I don't know the roofing side, but in that file it shows that the gutter bill should not be more than $742.38. Well, if you're $2 more, the project manager's calling to ream your butt. Well, what happens if your salesman was off 5 feet or 10 feet? That's what I liked about it. I don't like getting nickel and dime. I'm not a liar. I'm going to tell you how many feet I put in the house, and that's what I'm going to bill you for. So I think they're both good to work for. I just like the guys that say, get the job done and send me a bill. I'm fair. They know I'm fair. I guess that's the relationship I like to build.
Did you have a mentor or mentors in business?
I had a good friend of mine, Alan. He owns his own roofing company now. He was small. We kind of both started about the same time. I think I was a couple years ahead of him. He was a mover and a shaker and a salesman. That guy could sell ice to an Eskimo. And I'm not the salesman personality. I just like to tell you what I can do for you, and if you don't like it, I get it. But if you hire me, I'm gonna be that guy for you. So he taught me a lot, and me and him spent every weekend knocking doors, every single weekend knocking doors. And I learned a lot from him, but not as a mentor deal. I never had a mentor. I've always wondered if it was worth it, or today everybody's a business coach, and I see some of these guys are business coach, and like, what have you accomplished, dude? I mean, you ain't got shit for credentials, but you're a business coach, you're a life coach. Because you're in shape and you're fit, I don't know. I'm good.
Can you make money cleaning gutters?
No.
You can't?
No, it's a good business, man.
That's your new business today. So
yep.
You go and partner in cleaning?
Yep, well, so long story short, I sold Midstate, and that was in July. We're coming up on 5 years now. sat around, messed around, helped my good friend Aaron. We did plumbing, back into plumbing again. Plumbed a little bit, looking on Craigslist. I always watch Craigslist, just business to sale. I always look,
I love Craigslist too.
Just anything, a business. I love business for sale. All of a sudden, this guy is selling a gutter cleaning business. I'm like, huh? If I can sell it, clean gutters. How do you make money cleaning gutters? Because I can't tell you how many times we turned down gutter cleaning at, Mid-State. And I told my wife, I said, Katie, what do you think about me buying a gutter cleaning? She says, gutters, I thought you were done with that stuff. I said, well, I don't know. So I went and had coffee with this guy. And
your non-compete did not apply to gutter cleaning?
So I spent a lot of money on my attorney. I had another attorney look over it. And I think I had a third attorney look over it. Like, is there something I'm missing here? No, because we never did gutter cleaning. It wasn't in my non-compete. I learned a lot about non-competes. So I ended up buying this gutter cleaning thing, and it was a great deal. He's a full-time firefighter for Minneapolis. He did it on the side. It was great. He perfect reputation. I mean, this guy, he had a good deal, but I bought it all, and I'm like, so that was the thing is, do I buy a gutter cleaning business or do I start my own?
How much did you buy it for?
Yeah, what did I pay? $125 for it, $125. I gave him $60,000 down. I did the rest on a contract for deed, but then I caught him and he violated his non-compete. I caught him out cleaning gutters. And the funny,
how did you caught him?
Well, so me and my right-hand man at the time, we're cleaning the gutters down in Hopkins, and we're cleaning, and I get this lady that calls me. She says, are you coming to my house today? Or she says, Brian, is that you? I said, no, this is Mike. And the guy I bought it from, his name was Brian. You coming to my house today? And I caught her name. And thank God I caught her name. I'm like, no. And then my brain started thinking, I'm like, that son of a bitch is out cleaning. So we finished that house up. We went over to that house, and we were driving my partner or my worker's truck at that time. We pulled up, and there's Brian up on the roof. So I got out 2 blocks away. I sat there. My right-hand man at the time, Earl, he drives up there, gets out, walks around the house, has his phone on, recording the whole time. And he goes, oh, I must be at the wrong house. So he leaves. And we were busier than hell, and Brian had a bunch of jobs he had to do for us yet. I'm like, well, I ain't gonna tell him for another week because I need him to get these jobs done. So he gets the jobs done, like a week goes by after this. And at this time, I'm talking with my...
So he's working for you and you bought his business, but he's still doing jobs on the side?
Yeah, doing his own jobs.
So what is it, greed or what was it? Like, why?
Right. So then I had to confirm, and this is dirty, I called one of my buddies that lived in St. Louis Park. I said, hey, I'm gonna pay for your gutter cleaning. Call this number and see if this guy will come out to your house and clean your gutters. Well, he called Brian. Brian came to his house, cleaned his gutters. I paid for his gutter cleaning. So, and it's funny, to this day, I still have never showed him the proof. I just called him up, and I'm like, hey, dude, you made a bad mistake. What do you mean? I said, I caught you cleaning gutters. All right, what's it worth? Well, his attorney called me. Well, his attorney should never talk to me.
Sure.
So his attorney's like, well, it's $5,000. I said, no, it's $25,000. And my attorney and his attorney went back and forth. I said, here's the deal. You're paying for my attorney fees to start with. And I ended up beating him up. I think it took $25,000 off the top. Wow. Well, that caused a lot of, blood boil.
But you should know better. I mean,
Well,
you violate non-compete.
Well, that's why I spent a lot of money on mine, because I didn't want any bad blood. That's the last thing I want to do is get sued. I haven't been sued yet, knock on wood, and I don't want to be sued.
And did you get all the money? I know there's a portion that, so if you sell it for 1.5, there's a portion that you have to wait.
So through an SBA, the seller has to finance as 10 or 15%. And that goes, it's a mess, because like the first year, I mean, you got to know who you're selling to.
Sure.
And obviously, SBA's got first lien holder rights. And at the end of the day, what's a bunch of gutter material and a couple vans worth, So yeah, I got a big chunk of money right away, and I put that away, put a bunch of real estate, invested it away. There was like nothing for a year or 2 years. Then I got an interest-only payment, and now we got like 5 years of payments coming. So I mean, it's a good thing, because you don't get, Uncle Sam took his fair share there, and I learned a lot there, man. When you sell a business,
so if you sell for 1.5, what your tax looks like? Like how much Uncle Sam
politics and taxes, I get a little pissed, because I'm 20 years old. I think that year, I don't know, I must have paid $300,000 in taxes. Oh, wow. I mean, there's no, it's not like real estate where you can do a 1031 or nothing. You're screwed. You sell a business, you're paying tax. It's all relative. I mean, it is what it is. I wash my headaches away. Bought this gutter cleaning from him, and he gave me a customer list, and it was just spreadsheets, and it was just a mess. So the first thing I did is I sat down, and I went through. I kind of scrubbed everything, and went through everything. And I think we came out of everything. And I think we had 1,300 customers, and I took every customer. Me and a friend, we wrote every single customer, mailed every customer a magnet. I sat down 1,300 envelopes and mailed everybody a magnet.
That's hustle.
And I tell you what, my hand was so freaking cramped. It was bad. So we did that and just started messing around. And
How much are you charging for gutter cleaning?
It's all over the board. I mean, it really depends on your house.
What's the minimum charge?
$149.
$149.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's guys out.
What's your margins and something like that? What's your average margin?
They're
on gutter
healthy.
cleaning?
For the first couple of years, I was out there running myself. I still ran all last year, this year. We pay the guys good. Same with the gutter industry. I'm a strong believer in percentages. I've never paid someone by the hour. I don't like hourly.
Okay, so how much is you paying percentage?
You're usually 15-20% per guy. If we had a couple subs, we'd run them at 50%, which was everybody's coming out smiling good.
So if you sell at $450, they get $225.
Yep. If they go and do the job, yep. They got their own truck, their own gas. We run clean, legit subs. So you're your own gig.
Sure. Materials, yours or theirs? So they do everything.
Mm-hmm. Everything's
$225.
Mm-hmm. It's been a good business. We've had opportunity. I get asked all the time, what else can you do for us? What else can you do for us? Because our service is top notch. And I don't want to do anything else. I don't, window clean this. I don't want to go in someone's house. Last thing I want to do.
That's my next question is I'm a firm believer that doing less is doing more. In my last interview with Brad Lee, who is, genius, coach, teacher,
Yeah,
whatever.
I've seen Bradley, yep.
So he was arguing with me. He said, this is what mistake the roofers make. He said, you go and you just sell roofs. Well, look at the pool, look at everything else. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be general contractor. I don't want to be all service to all people. I want to focus and do more of less, because if you start getting too many services, how are you going to scale it? Like now you're home advisor. Now you're a referral business, which is, if you want to be in a referral business, open a referral business. But for me, being a gutter guy, be a gutter guy or roofing guy. But would you agree or not agree that doing less is doing more?
I struggle because my entrepreneurial brain is just spinning. I'm like, there's $100, there's $100, there's $100. There's fruits hanging all over, and I know I can get it. Well, how do you scale that? I guess what I've tried to figure out and dial in is have some good referral partners and people you can trust.
Next question is, have you found gutter covers that work 100% of the time?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We could sit here till 4 o'clock this afternoon if we talk gutter covers. The best gutter system that I've found is leaf guard.
Give one advice to a brand new contractor.
Answer your phone and grind. Answer your phone and hustle, man. We've all got the same 24 hours here. Use yours wisely. Minnesota, northern states, we got 8 months. If we get 9 months, 10 months, we're happier than heck. I always figured all my numbers on 7.5 to 8 months. And if I make any money after those, it's all free money to me. And grind.
Have you invested in Bitcoin?
No. That's one thing I love real estate, man. You can touch it, you can feel it.
How many properties do you have now?
We got 28 rentals, and I got some self-storage buildings.
The last question I have for you for today is, who has it better in construction industry, business owners or sales guys?
I've met a lot of guys that I want to start my own business, have the freedom. Fuck, there ain't freedom, man. There's no freedom. It's headaches. I would say they both got their own advantages and disadvantages. Salesmen, if you're a true salesman, you're gonna wine and dine your customers. But if they're calling you at 5 o'clock on Sunday, I think if you should answer your phone call. If it's a $50,000, I've never sold a $50,000 roof, but it's if a $100,000 roof, I'm answering my phone call to see what she needs. But at the end of the day, you can sneak away for the weekend. You can tell the boss, hey, I'm going to forward you my phone. The business owner, you ain't going away for the weekend. There's no such thing. That's one thing I love about the gutter industry, man. Once it gets cold out, us guys, we're chickens. We're done. We're cold, So So they both got their advantages, man. It's good, bad, and ugly.
It just it's funny for me because a lot of sales guys, they look at business owners and they think that we make so much, and they start envying and they quit. Whatever they're doing. And some of them making real good money. And I tell everybody, if you're good at sales, just find legit companies, stay there, somebody who treats you well, pays you on time, or maybe even if there's delay in payments, it's not a big deal, you'll get paid. But my advice to sales guys, stay at sales if you're good at sales, because
you may not be good at production.
Exactly. Sales guys fail the most when they become business owners. They fail. Like production guys, killing it usually because I'm a production guy. I have production mentality. I'm not a sales guy. Mm-hmm. So we like our process, we like our margins, and we have to be smart at that. But sales guys come in, they like money, and they usually mismanage money when they become business owners.
Have you noticed some good sales guys get cocky?
Oh yeah, easy.
Okay, so every big sales guy's got the big fancy truck and this and that. I mean, cocky don't go far in business, man. I've always stayed humble when we were killing it, and also when I had nothing. I was just low key. And I don't think to manage crews and to manage employees, you can't be cocky. You can't be.
And people don't like it either.
No, when you're out.
That's what I tell people all the time. Drive the service vehicle. Sales guy does not want to drive service vehicle. He wants to do,
the big fancy lifted up truck.
Like, no, that's bad. Like, it's perception. Because if you arrive at that, perception is you're a general contractor. Yep. You're a middleman. People don't like it. You drive on a small car or smaller car, service vehicle. Now you're in service. People want to give you money.
I can't tell you how many times, thousands and thousands. I always drove my Ford Ranger. Little Ford Ranger. I pull up to the loading docks and I tell you that there's a little truck and there's boxes of downspouts and coils and everything else. And everybody says, you need a bigger truck. I said, you need a bigger bank account, man. I always just stockpile money and I don't care. I'm driving this little truck. And so you pull up to people's houses, they're like, that guy's, he's working, he's hustling. I don't need no big fancy, what is a fancy truck gonna help me sell a job? No, it's not. I think it looks bad.
Awesome. I think it's a good ending.
Yeah.
Comment below what you guys think. I'm going to keep bringing Mike, hopefully if he's willing to share some more knowledge with you guys. Comment below if you have more questions or who else would you like us to interview on this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.